Okay, I'm a conqueror. We gon' do something a little different this time. Let's go. I abide under the shadow of the Almighty. That means all haters and evildoers can't see me. Casting out all the demons in the industry. Spiritual assassin, target X, Y, and Z. See, I'm made from a God who's more than enough. Carries the weight of the world, yeah, my God is buff. Even when life and reality, they get so rough. I'm cut from iron cloth, man, I'm tough. I'm in the CIA, in Christ I abide. The FBI, a faith-bred individual. I got my credentials, very influential. That's why I can say I'm a conqueror. I'm a conqueror. I'm a conqueror. I'm a conqueror. Say it. 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 Okay.
Hey everyone, this is Torian Scott, the host of the Kingdom Business Show. I'm so excited. I'm right outside of Can of Brew Coffee right here in Chino, where I'm going to go inside and meet my friend Jeff T. Osborne. Listen, Jeff has an amazing story of redemption. His glory has a story, so you don't want to miss out on it. Come inside as we meet Jeff. This is Kingdom Business.
Isaac represented Jesus. And there's seasons in our life where God says, look, you've done everything that you can, but you need to give your dream and your vision back to me. You need to give your husband and your wife back to me. You need to give your children back to me. Why? Because the Bible says that God is the author and the finisher. He's the beginning and the end.
What's up, man? Good to see you, man. Good to see you, man. Yeah, man. How you doing, bro? Good to see you, man. Welcome, bro. Thank you. I appreciate it. Wow. Well, Jeff, man, thank you so very much for meeting me here at this amazing location, Can of Brew Coffee, right here in Chino Hills. I'm so excited to see you. So what's up? What's new, man? I know you're traveling around the nation, traveling around the world, impacting business owners, pastors, leaders, next generation. I mean, what's new, man? Talk to me.
Man, well, I appreciate you coming to my neck of the woods. I mean, it's always good to have you. Yeah, this is my place, Can of Brew, amazing coffee. So this is where I just go to get away, you know, just really clear my head. But man, God has just been showing off and showing out. Just recently got back from doing a business conference in Indianapolis, and so yeah, so I got to go into a race car with all the NASCAR drivers and just had around. We were going like 140 on a racetrack. So
man,
it was fun. But God's just been showing out, like. Just literally great partnerships. I'm so excited to announce I just partnered with Thrive Ministries, which is a ministry out of Thailand.
Okay.
And what they do is they take girls who are 18 and younger who have been sex trafficked, and they give them a place to stay. Not only that, they put them in a private school, set them up for entrepreneurial skills, and they're turning brothels into bakeries. And so I'm on the board of advisors. So in a few months we'll be heading out to Thailand to see what they're doing and open up another coffee house similar to Can of Brew out there. So aside from that, God's just been showing us His power, showing His might in the business realm as well as the church. So I'm excited.
That's it, and that's what this show is all about. See, I tell people this all the time, that whenever Jesus got baptized and He went up to the wilderness to get tempted of Satan for 40 days, 40 nights, all that stuff, when He came down that mountain, He didn't just go to a synagogue and put, you know, a little nameplate up and said, all right, I'm Jesus, Savior of the world, everybody come see me. No, but it was out in the marketplace where people's eyes were open, where the gospel was taught, where miracles, signs, and wonders happened. And so that's awesome, man, that you all are taking it to the streets. And so I'm excited about that. So I want to ask you a couple of questions. Number one, we hear your glory. All right, we hear the glory of everything. We see, you know, international travel. We see the books that you got going on. We see all of the speaking engagements, but that's the glory. We see, of course, just living a nice, lavish lifestyle now. But there's a story and a glory story behind that glory. So talk us through where you started, because life wasn't always like this.
No, man, I'm glad you asked about that. I think a lot of people, they don't see the fact that everybody sees the glory, like you said, but not many people want to see the glory behind it, the nastiness and behind what goes on. And so this is a part of my life that I'm more excited about telling, because this is what makes me who I am.
Yeah.
I say that oftentimes when you're grinding so much and you get through the grind and you get through the toughness of life, you'll find out that it was what you learned in the midst of the grind that was way more than what you were grinding for. And so in my life, I started off born in Orange County, California, and so it was one of those areas where, you know, I lived in Huntington Beach, so there wasn't too many colored people over there in Huntington Beach. There weren't too many brothers in the area, so I grew up skateboarding. I grew up surfing, but I always had a love for the sports. So football and basketball was like my thing. And so growing up around the 8th grade, we moved into the Inland Empire, and so at my high school, because I spoke proper and because I was a skateboarder and sponsored and doing all that stuff, they started making fun of me and saying, hey, I wasn't black enough, I wasn't this and that, whatever that means. And so in the midst of all that, I said, well, hey, you guys want to see it, so let me study and become as ignorant as I can. Let me get involved with as much as I can so I can prove my blackness, whatever that meant. And in the midst of that happening, I ended up getting involved with gangs, all the while becoming an athlete. So I was becoming a star athlete in the midst of this. And full experience, I was just trying to find out who I was. I knew about God, but I didn't know God. He was my parents' God, and he wasn't my God. And so through this whole experience of like this identity crisis, my senior year, I'm heading over, about to head to college to go play football, and I decided to become involved with a group of guys on my team, and we ended up going out to Los Angeles to get some tattoos. And that night, I became the getaway driver for 6 armed robberies and a possible attempted murder.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
And so that night, I mean, it just plays in your head so much, but we get arrested, and the one cop car pulls up behind us, one cop car turns into 2 cop cars, 2 cop cars turn into 5, turn into 9, 2 helicopters on us, guns drawn, dogs barking, and it was at that moment that like reality has set in, like, what are you doing here? And so I get arrested, and I'm in this substation. This is where my life changed. I got on my knees and I said, God, whatever it is you have for me, I'm done running. I surrender, hands up, like got on my knees, and I said, I'll take this Bible, I'll take this word, I'll take everything that you say that's inside of this book, I'll read it, I'll inhale it, I'll memorize it, and you show me that you're real. And so after that, little did I know what that would entail in these next months to ensue.
Well, that's awesome right there, because you hit a lot of different things. So number one, we saw identity.
Absolutely.
That my identity doesn't come from the hue of my skin. My identity doesn't come from my surroundings, you know, but my identity comes from who I believe God created me to be.
That's it.
Right?
So 1 Corinthians 15:33 holds true in your life that bad company corrupts good morals. So here you were, this kid that really is a good kid, but you're just trying to fit in. But you ended up connecting with the wrong people at the wrong place at the wrong time and ended up doing some time, correct?
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so while I get in there, I get arrested. As I get arrested, they say, well, hey, listen, Mr. Osborne, because you've never been involved with any crimes or anything like that, what we'll do is you'll go to court, they'll say, hey, you're going to have to come back on another date, and then you'll be good to go. So what ends up happening, though, is when I see my attorney says to me, well, Mr. Osborne, they're offering you a deal. And so I said, a deal? Like, okay, what do we look at? Probation, you know, maybe a month? He goes, well, they're offering you 16 to life.
16 years?
16 years to life in prison.
Wow.
And so at this moment, when they told me that, my heart just fell out all over the floor. And I said, 16 years? And he goes, yeah, well, your crimee is getting 32 to life. So what ends up happening, 32 years to life for him. We're 18, we just turned 18 years old. And we've come to find out that the other members in the car who had committed the crimes, they were coaxed into turning the table saying, hey, it was us that did everything. And so as a result, here I was, just prayed to God, said, hey, I believe you for something amazing in my life, and bam, the deal I get is 16 years to life. And at that moment, I had a choice and a decision. Was I going to cry? Was I going to get frustrated? And I cried. Because they had sent me to LA County Jail. Now, if you don't know LA County Jail, they say that LA County Jail is the hardest jail in the nation. And if you can survive in LA County Jail, you can survive any level 4 prison. That's the highest prison that you can go in. And so my whole world is shook. Every prison movie that I could think of is going through my head at this time. And even just thinking about it, it's just so nostalgic because I get there and everybody's looking at me like, what are you doing here? You don't belong here. And I said, all right, God, you throw me in the belly of the beast, let's go. And so they put me on the 2000 floor, which is the gang module, the hardest of the floors. And it was there that I said, okay, I'm dropped in the belly of the beast, but I've got your word, and this is nothing but depression and hopelessness around me. I'm going to spread like a virus and try to love on as many people as possible. And so as I started doing that, influence started growing, God started opening doors, lives started being changed, and the stories of the people who would accept Christ and just get off just like that would happen on a regular basis to where I got the nickname Preacher Boy.
Wow. You know, Jeff, you said a lot of stuff in that one again. Talk about decisions. That a decision, I heard this thing the other day. So there's 5 frogs that are sitting on a log, right? 3 of them decided to jump off. How many how many frogs are left on the log? Naturally, people would say, okay, 3 minus 5 is 2. It just said that they decided to jump off. Didn't say that they jumped off. And so the great thing about what you just said is that you made a decision, but your decision was followed up by action.
That's it.
All right? And so your actions really lined up with a vision that you had for your life. Of course, it wasn't to be in the LA County Jail. It wasn't to be hooked up with these guys, but you had a vision that far superseded your circumstances. So tell me about vision. Tell me about your vision.
So talk to me about your vision. Talk to me, why is it important for a person to have a vision that supersedes their current situation?
God, I love that question. I love when we talk about vision, we go to that route because I'm known for a saying that says true vision is birthed through blind eyes. And what I mean by that is true vision that comes from your heart. Not vision isn't the vision that we talk about from our eyes, it's vision that comes from our heart. And so the reason why that's so important is because our eyes will deceive us and tell us one story, but our heart will tell us the truth of the story.
That's good.
And so if I'm governed and I allow my vision to be governed by what I see and not by what I know right here in my heart, then I'll always be reactive to life and never proactive in going after it. So when I talk about vision, I tell people, I says that my dreams became my current reality, and my current reality became nothing but a dream. So when I had to put it all together, this is what it meant. I didn't care what anybody told me. I didn't care what statistics say. I didn't care what the facts were. I didn't care what my background was or my past was. If God gave it to me, then it was up to Him to make sure it came to pass because His name was on the line. And if I say that I'm His child and I represent Him, my job is just to do what He's asked me to do. Nothing more, nothing less. Follow the line and do what He asked me to do. And as a result, with vision, you have to get what I call the hypochondriac mindset, where a hypochondriac will speak a sickness over their life so much that even though they don't see it in their life, the symptoms will start showing before they get a full-blown manifestation of that. Well, I adopted that when I was in in jail, and in my life it didn't matter what I saw. I began to declare what God told me and showed me, and as a result, even though I didn't see it at first, I started getting symptoms of it. Breakthrough here, breakthrough there, good connection, God connection there, and then before you know it, I'm living a full manifestation of the vision that I saw. And so vision is so key, because if you don't have vision in your life, then you'll go off of what you see, and you'll just be tossed around. People will tell you what you can do, but vision is unmoving. When you have true vision, and you're a visionaire. When you're a visionaire, that means that I live my vision. So my vision and my dream has become my current reality. So when I was driving a bucket, I was picturing a brand new car.
Come on.
You know? So when we were struggling, I would picture, I would put myself in the place that was conducive to my growth. So when I was feeling like I needed to get up, when I was feeling like I was in this funk, I would go to Newport Beach, I would go to Laguna Beach, I would go to those places that were people of, affluent, and they had money and wealth, so I can get myself in that mindset out of my rut. And so vision is unmoving. Vision isn't what you see, vision is what you know, and it's not what you know here, it's what you know here.
That's it.
Yeah, brother.
Vision is so important, and I always tell business owners, whenever they're starting a business or anything, there's a difference between ideas and vision. Because an idea, you can get an idea just like that.
That's good.
But most people stay at the idea phase of their lives. They never go into vision. And so you have this great idea to have a business or a book or a ministry or something like that, and you're passionate about it for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden, that passion kind of fizzles out, and you start, flipping through the channels, or you meet somebody and they're like, oh my goodness, that's a person with my idea. It's because you stayed in the idea phase, you didn't change it into a vision.
Come on.
A vision has a person, people attached to it, processes attached to it, and a purpose attached to it. And so it sounds like you found your purpose.
Absolutely.
It sounds like you found what God has put you on this earth to do, that He's created you to do. And so you have vision. So talk to me about purpose. What do you feel your life's purpose is? What was Jeff T. Osborne put on this earth to do?
I actually discovered that when I was in my prison cell. I always thought that our calling or our purpose was a geographical location, so to speak. But when I realized that true purpose and true success is being who God has created you to be. If people looked at my situation when I was in my prison cell looking at 16 in life, they would have said, oh my God, he's so far outside of his calling that it was crazy. But in all actuality, I was more in my calling than I am now. Why? Because my purpose in life is to empower, to love on people outrageously, and to pull out the good in them. That was what God created me to do. That's why I'm here on this earth. And so it wasn't so much my geographical location, but it was who God called me to be. I love how Pastor Paul Scanlon says we're called human beings and not human doings.
That's right, that's right.
So I realized that if God created me to be empowerment, to be love, to be uplifting, then I was going to be that even when I was in prison. And so what I began to do is I began to love on these guys. I began to be love. I began to be empowerment. I began to be encouragement. And as a result, what I do today came from my who. My dad said your do comes from your who. So what I do now in life came from my purpose of who God called me to be. And so now my purpose is to love so outrageously that people know who my Father is. To be empowerment so much so that people are empowered to take their life to another level, and they don't need me, but they can become self-correcting. And so as a result of doing that, now I pull out the gold that God has in people, and I pull these things out, and it's amazing to see when people realize, oh my God, it's not a geographical location that determines whether or not I'm in my calling, but it's who God called me to be. And I have you started a line of clothing called Become. And basically when we look at the word, it says, when you choose to be the person of your destiny now, everything will come.
Yes.
Become.
Nice. Come on. So you talked about your glory. You talked about your glory. We talked about vision. We talked about purpose. What are some things that people need to understand when it comes down to fulfilling their God-given purpose, regardless of what they're going through, regardless of what they see around them? What are some steps that a person could take from our conversation today and say, hey, listen, I want to know my purpose. I want to know my calling. I want to know my vision. How does a person start?
Number one, you got to be, certain books call it stickability. But for me, I realized that there was no plan B. I had no plan B.
There it is.
So people always ask me, say, well, Jeff, what happened if your plan A didn't work out? I told them I rewrote plan A. So there was no plan B for me. If this is what God told me I was going to do, I was going to do it. And I didn't care what anybody said. I had everybody call me crazy. They said what they wanted to say. And so as a result, I chose to still be who God called me to be, even when other people weren't. And so I made a decision. And when I made a decision to go and empower the world, I stuck to it. I didn't care what people told me. I didn't care what they said. And so even when I was in my prison cell and they gave me 16 to life and they told me I would never get out, I chose to empower people in there, so much so that I truly believe that when you are being who God called you to be, He'll bend the rules, He'll break the bars and do it.
That's right.
And so 10 months into my 16 to life sentence, they asked me to go back up to court, and I go back up to court and the judge says, upon reviewing your letter, I got a letter on my behalf from the assistant warden of Chino State Prison. Never saw the man, never met him, never shook his hand. He said it's a good guy who hit a bump in the road and let him go.
Wow.
So as a result of me choosing to be who God called me to be and not moving and not wavering, God opened those doors, and now I'm traveling the world dealing with NFL teams and things like that. But when you look at the whole 9 yards and you look at the whole grand scheme of things, there is no plan B. That's number one. Number two, surround yourself with people, not perfect people, but purpose people.
Yes.
Not perfect people, but purpose people. People who are driven by a purpose in life, and they're not going to allow anything to detract them and detour them from that vision. And then number three, let God do what He does. We're not God. Last time I checked, I didn't create this earth. And so if I always say this, that if God used His words to create this earth, what are we creating with ours? So we got to be able to speak life into our situation and know that no matter how hard it is, no matter what I see, if God brought it to me, He's going to bring it through me. And He's got to make it happen.
That's awesome, man. Well, man, thank you so much for your time. I know that your time is very valuable, and I'm so appreciative of that. But before we go, you have a beautiful family, right? So you got a beautiful wife, 2 beautiful kids. How do you balance it all? You're traveling, you're on a plane any given day of the week. How does that affect your family life? How you brought your family into the purpose and the vision that God has called you to?
I love you asking me that question, because Uncle TD said, I call him Uncle TD. I call him Uncle TD. I'm speaking at it. But TD Jake said this. He said, listen, you got to understand something. At the end of the night, when you go to bed, you're going to fail at something. You're going to fail in something. You're going to miss the mark on something. Just make sure it's not the same thing every day. And so there are moments where my son, I may miss that moment to play with him because daddy's working. But you better believe tomorrow I'm going to be on that floor wrestling with my son. I may miss a date with my wife because I'm traveling. But when I get back, you better believe I ain't missing it. And so I realized that my wife and my kids play so much of a part of my life and where I'm at, that if I don't cherish that first gift that God gives me, and the Bible talks about, why would I bless you with my sheep if you can't even take care of your own family? So you hear it, your family is your first ministry, but it's not a ministry for me. My family is the life that God gave me. And when I'm making sure that they're healthy, I'm healthy. And if I'm healthy, then the people that I speak to is healthy, and they're healthy in their life. So my family plays such an amazing part because I never jeopardize that. We've gone through our hardships, my wife and I, but we made a decision to love each other. We made a choice to love each other. It wasn't based off of how we felt, but I made a decision to love my wife through the ups and downs. And as I did that, God just showed His best way. And so we're loving life. My 6-year-old boy Jaden and Amaya, and my beautiful queen Nadia.
Yes.
So yeah, that's my life, my man.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so very much, man. I appreciate your time once again. Love you, man. I'm so excited about all the great things that God is doing with you and through you. And so until next time, everybody, this is Tori and Scott. This is the Kingdom Business Show, where we really understand how people are expanding the kingdom of God in everyday life. Until next time, we'll see you soon. Wow, what an awesome time that we had with Jeff. If you want more information about where he's speaking, what he's doing, the new product lines that he has coming out, go to jefftosborne.com. That's where you can find everything, see some speaking updates, everything. We want to thank him so very much for his time. Also, please follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, as well as Facebook. It's the Kingdom Business Show. Until next time, we'll see you real soon.
Now get your general status on. The war's already won.